Hello. I have always heard there are two ways to learn. One is by mistakes. The other one is with mentors. You're right. I want to talk to you about mentorship. I want to talk today about how to become a great mentor. But I also want to talk to you at another time on how to become a great mentee. I believe you can be a great mentor because you are being mentored. I don't think that if you're not being mentored and you haven't made yourself available to be mentored, but to become a mentee, I don't know that you will probably ever be a great mentor. I think I can personally be a great leader for Christ because I'm a great follower of Christ. I think every leader that looks into another leader's life asks a simple question: who mentors you? And I want to encourage you now up front to find mentors that can help you become all you were meant to be. You see, we're all born with the right to speak, but we've got to earn the right to be heard. This is so important to me that not only am I going to talk to you at a leadership part, I'm going to talk about it probably on the men's call. And in our men's locker room, G5 men locker room, we are going to do a short, just talk about it there. In your life right now, the Christian word is discipleship and the business word is mentorship. In your life right now, people will come to you and expect you to make them successful. Let me just let you know, as a mentor, you cannot make people successful. You can only give people two things in life, and that's an opportunity and an example. But in your example is going to be the lessons of a lot of other people that have taught you. You say, Tim, why do I need a mentor? Because in life, in your faith, you're not going to be able to figure it out all on your own. In your family, in your relationships, in your marriage, raising children, you're not going to be able to do it all on your own. In your future, with your vision, with your purpose, with your why, you're going to need some help getting clarity on these things. In your freedom, what are you going to do with your freedom? A lot of times people cannot handle freedom. You're going to have questions, big questions, on how in the world do I deal with my free time, my free money, my free moments in my life. It's where most people fail. What will I do with fun in my life? Is life just about having fun, or is it about getting something done? What will you do with fun? Fitness, just mentally, emotionally, spiritually, physically? You're going to need some mentors. You're going to need some help along the way. In your finances, definitely. You're going to need somebody that can help you organize so you don't agonize. They're going to help you get a vision for your future and for your money. And you'll put a plan together. And I'm very excited about that for you. And I think, lastly for me, it's in your friends. Your 5 closest friends in your life will determine the level of your success. So, how can I be an effective mentor? Let's talk just for a few minutes here, not real long, but I want you to get these 10 real secrets down. Number 1, be accessible. As a mentor, make sure you're taking the time to focus on the people that you told you would pour into their lives. I think it's so easy to go out in the world, and if you're not careful, you miss the opportunity to find 10 young men that you can begin to pour your life into. Well, Tim, what do I talk to them about? Well, after you watch a leadership lesson like this, you can start talking to them about the principles that we're talking about. When you listen to a message, you can talk to them about the principles that you heard in that message. It's why it's important for you to be a student always leading other students how to become a teacher. Show them, don't tell them. By leveraging every communication device you can have, it will help you get stronger in your ability to be accessible. Now, I know people love email, they love Facebook, they love private messaging, they love Instagram, they love TikTok, they love all of that. I know Zoom is all there. I can still tell you my favorite way is a phone call. I think it's really wonderful to not just send an email. I think it's wonderful to pick up a phone and say, how are you doing? There are things that you can hear in somebody's voice, their demeanor, their burden, their blessing, their excitement, their celebration, what they're anxious about, what they're confused about. And in that moment, because of hearing the tone in their voice and listening for the reflection that comes back, there's so much information to be given. The second thing is to be a positive role model. Set an example. I cannot tell you how important this is. I can tell you the younger person that you're mentoring, it's more important to them that you live authentically and that you're transparent than it is all the information that you know. For whatever you do when you're with somebody, don't try to act like you know something you don't know. If you do not know the answer, please be humble enough to say, I don't know, but we'll work on that together. A mentee can learn a lot from their mentor by simply just watching them, how they behave and respond in certain situations. I think this is one of the coolest things. This is why at G5, we are really big into servant leaders coming and shadowing other servant leaders. When something goes wrong, as challenges always uprise, we teach people with their attitude, with their thinking, and with their behavior how to deal with these situations. Good mentors always look out for experiences and even create opportunities for their mentee to become involved, to learn, to grow, and yes, even stretch. The third thing I encourage you to do as being a mentor is be yourself. Share your experiences and share your failures. If you want to impress them, tell them about your victories. And I just want to tell you right now, that may impress somebody, but it will never empower them. If you want to impact them, tell them about your mistakes, my failures. I shouldn't have done this. I should have been more aware. I should have thought through this more. Be willing to share with them that you have a corrective heart and that you're willing in your own life to be mentored by your situations. The more that you are yourself, the stronger the relationship you will build with the person that you're talking to. I would never, watch this, I would never as the mentor make somebody feel less than me. The goal of a mentor is to get to where they are or help people get to where they are. Sometimes judgment is what destroys us from really being able to help people get from where they are to where they need to go. We criticize, we compare, we complain, we critique, but what we need to be doing is we need to be pouring into them and asking them, what are you learning? What are you seeing? But I will tell you this, you have to be authentic. If you don't know who you are, you won't really make a very good mentor. If you're trying to be something that you're not, you won't make a good mentor. If you're trying to fake people out, if you're just trying to impress people, you're probably not going to be a very good mentor. If you want your mentee to do what you want them to do instead of helping them doing what they should do, because it's the way they should go, especially even with our children. Do you know parenting is a lot of mentorship? And so early in our lives, and so when I come to business, I bring the same principle. I didn't want to so much tell my children what to do. I wanted them to teach. I wanted to teach them how to think and to know what they should do by creating values in their lives. A mentor gets the privilege to help somebody uncover, discover, and share their values of their lives. Number 4, be genuine interested in your mentee as an individual. You not only have to care about what they want to accomplish, you not only have to care about their vision, you not only have to care about their performance, you not only have to care about all the things that we care about in business, strategy, planning, you have to really care about them. You have to learn how to ask questions appropriately, that you're not walking too far, too fast, you're too personal, too quick, but as you build respect and rapport and as you build trust, then you're going to get the chance in their lives to get to know your mentor, your mentee personally. And they're going to get to know you. I would encourage you to sit with them and talk to them about their hopes and their dreams and their desires. Learn how to ask questions that are non-threatening. Let me give you a couple, okay? Number one, just ask your mentee sometime, what was the favorite vacation you ever went on in your life? Where did you go? What did you do? When you dream about a vacation, where do you want to go? Hey, here's another one. If you could wake up tomorrow morning and do anything you wanted to do, what do you think you would do? You can learn so much. Now, don't judge it. Don't measure it. Don't try to correct it. Just take in the information and evaluate where somebody is. Number 5, share your experiences and your insights. Now, don't try to be right. Just share what you've experienced. A lot of people think that mentorship is domination. They think it's dictatorship. It's you're going to do exactly what I'm going to say. Look, I don't tell leaders what to do. Now, sometimes it makes them mad because they want somebody to tell them what to do. But at some point, and we taught our children this, and I'm so proud of them because I watch them today, they are getting information and making the proper decision. We teach them how to think, not what to think. Now, in your values, you will so help them. Be open to sharing your mistakes and your failures. Be open to talk about the lessons that you've learned. Be willing to talk about the pain of making a wrong decision. Be willing in your life to talk to them about challenges that will arise in their lives. You know, in life, Harry Truman said, the only thing new that you ever learn in your life is history you didn't know about. Somebody has walked this path. Somebody is walking through what you're walking through right now. Somebody's dealing with a business problem that you're dealing with right now. Somebody is dealing with a dream or a vision or frustration or fear or a setback or discouragement. Learn to talk to them about their experiences. Start collecting questions that you can ask your mentor and your mentee. Like, when you're down, how do you get back up? When you're lost, how do you find your way back to where you need to go? When you're confused, how do you get clarity in your life? If you want your performance to go south, just let the lack of clarity and the lack of simplicity come into your life. A lot of times when you share your experiences, you can talk about in your own life how many times you overcomplicated your life. How many times in your own life you just didn't have clarity. And when you don't have clarity, I will tell you, it equals frustration, which equals no fruitfulness. Let me tell you what else you can tell them. You can tell them about the time in your life when you did enough to be frustrated, but you didn't do enough to be fruitful. In your life, take a moment and be willing to share your experiences and what you've learned and how a mentor helped you. Number 6, share your friends. I think one of the coolest things that a mentor gets to do in their life is share their friends with other friends. I have a lot of wonderful friends, and I love sharing my friends with other people. I love being able to share my friends with this friend. As I was driving here to shoot this video, my buddy called me and said, "Hey, I want you to know your buddy called me and just encouraged me." Now, what we never do is we don't ever transact. We always have honor, order, and authority. But I'm grateful that when I share my friends with other people, it opens up a world to them and information to them that they may not just get in me. No one person can know it all. We can't do it all. You're going to need to have a team around you. And you need a team that's growing. And you need a team that is executing the disciplines that you so say you're going to do in order to reach your goals. So, in your life, I love introducing my friends to people that are not even in their industry. I love introducing my friends to other spiritual leaders. I love introducing my friends to other people in their life that can increase their lives and help them live the life they always wanted to live. By the way, one of the greatest things you will ever do with somebody is find out what they truly want. What do you want? And you will be amazed at how tough of a question this is. Because I am around a lot of people that kind of know, but they're not real clear. They truly don't have a burning desire. They truly don't know what their want, need, or desire is. What is it that you want? I'll give you an example. Let me just share a little mentor information with you, okay? If you're raising kids, my wife and I, before we ever had children, talked to each other about the fact of one day I want my children to want to come back home. I want my children to want to go to dinner with me. I want my children to want to be around my life. I don't want my kids not to be away from me because I destroy. Do you know the cost of destroying a relationship? Do you know the cost of constantly not being available when somebody needs you? Do you know the constant cost of not having emotional intelligence? Not being able to understand somebody, not even caring to listen to them. So, number 7, I want to encourage you, be a sounding board. Mentees, they greatly benefit from the opportunity of having a great listener, not a great corrector. A great listener. This is what happened. Well, I know you can shame them. Well, what's wrong with you? Why would you make such a decision? Instead, ask them this. What were you experiencing and feeling that caused you to make that decision? Almost every bad decision that we make in our lives is because we don't think clearly and we're not understanding our own feelings, our emotional intelligence. I will tell you right now, and you need to know this. In business and in school, they teach almost 75% on intellectual IQ and 25% on emotional intelligence. Here's the challenge. Life is really 75% emotional intelligence and 25% intellectual. Should we not be smart? No, we need to be smart. But let me tell you what smart does for people. It makes them want to constantly be right instead of listen to somebody's feelings, needs, wants, or desires, or discouragement, or hurt. I hope you will take time and really listen to this again, because what I'm saying to you is way more important than you can ever imagine. Where do fights and quarrels come from? Because people feel like they're not receiving what they need. Now you need to ask yourself today, let me mentor you a second. You've got to ask, are my feelings and my needs, are they really dysfunctions or are they really needs that are in my life? That's a tough question. But here's what I can tell you. If you will let somebody be a sounding board for you and give you fresh perspective and say to you, don't hold on to that any longer. Let go of it. Forgive. Watch what happens in your life. Number 8, give them a fresh perspective. I just talked about it a little bit, but I can tell you, Give somebody a fresh perspective. A good mentor will often provide their mentee with a fresh look at a same situation. They may look at the same situation you're looking at and say, have you ever thought of this? Have you ever thought of this? Like, can I tell you? They may come to you and say to you, I know right now you're discouraged. I know right now your dream doesn't seem to become a reality. Let me be spiritual for a second. I know your prayers might not seem like they're being answered, but I promise you, this thing that looks like it's going to destroy you is going to lead you to your victory. I cannot tell you how many mentees in my life I've told them when they lost a job, this will be the greatest thing that ever happened to you, because now you're getting ready to launch a business that's been in your heart. And now I could have them tell the story of how now they would never want to go back and live in a small box when the world is your plate. It's your playfield. You get the chance to go out and play the game of life. It's powerful. So, a good mentor will often have clarity because they're not involved in it. We used to have this statement that says, I can't see the forest for the trees. It's blinding. Right now, I want you to know, if you can understand and get effective feedback, it will change everything in your life. Number 9, provide helpful feedback. Feedback is the breakfast of champions. When you give somebody feedback, when they do something and you walk up after it's over and go, that was incredible. And sometimes it may even be, you were incredible. Let me tell you what I love to do. I love to go sometimes to my team and say, I missed it, but I won't miss it again. I think if we lead with feedback on our own lives, evaluating, I believe it will teach other people to evaluate and give feedback. But I can tell you, acknowledge all achievement. Even acknowledge defeat. Don't scorn. Don't put down. Don't go, what's wrong with you? Say, what did you learn? Sometimes setbacks are the greatest teachers in the world. What did I learn? What am I learning right now? So I want to tell you this. You got to be careful. Are you ready, mentors? Not all feedback is helpful. Not all feedback is helpful. And I can tell you this, no feedback is never helpful. Some of you don't want to tell people great job because you were never told great job. Or you believe this, if I recognize them and tell them great job, they won't work harder. Don't believe that lie. Do you know why most people leave their job? Not because they don't like their work, because they don't feel like their boss appreciates them. If you're working with somebody and you're encouraging them, watch this. The time to stretch them and set a new bar is not at that moment of celebration. It may be an hour later, it may be 2 hours later when you call them back and go, hey, you know what? We just were so successful at this, and I'm so proud. And I just want to ask you, what's your new 90-day goal? What are you going to do now? Be careful that your inspiration and your challenging, I have the gift of exhortation, and I have to be careful that it doesn't sound like criticism. That's so big. So in your life right now, feedback will always help your mentee get further insight into what they need to develop and grow in their lives. Qualities, skills, but when you give feedback, always ask for permission. Hey, can I ask you a question? Would you give me permission to just say something to you that would help you grow? That would help you be better at what you do? A smart mentee will come and go, hey, what can I do to get better? Now, mentees, sometimes you get upset because your mentor doesn't immediately say, you need to do this, this, and this, and this. If you ask a mentee to do what they're not ready to do, you will destroy them. Give them time to grow. It's kind of like a crock pot. Let them just keep simmering, and they're going to grow into what they need to become. Here's what I can tell you. Ask your mentee questions and empower them to work through their issues so they can learn to trust their own judgment. Man, that's big. That's big. So additionally, help your mentee's confidence by celebrating and acknowledging their achievements. Now listen, I would encourage you as a mentor not to only celebrate with the person that you're mentoring, okay? I would encourage you to go tell other people, brag on them specifically to other people. Man, I love what this leader is doing. I love what this emerging leader is doing. And by the way, the more you acknowledge and notice, the more powerful people will give their lives away to the mission. Number 10 is simply this. Have fun. Oh my goodness. Being a mentor is so exhilarating because you see other people winning. You see other people making better decisions. You see other people making and asking themselves tough questions. You see other people evaluating at a whole nother level. All of a sudden you see somebody that used to walk in a room and they couldn't discern anything. They couldn't see anything. They didn't know if people operating by the values that were on the wall. And all of a sudden they begin to see, oh, I see. Not in a critical way, but in a protective way of a culture. They begin to see what they were not able to see or not willing to see. Have fun. Celebrate it. Mentors often learn a great deal about themselves in the process of mentoring other people. Now, I'll give you a big lesson. Sometimes you will find yourself as a mentor getting really frustrated with a mentee. Somebody that you're trying to help get better. And you'll get angry and you'll feel like they're not listening. And you'll go, why should I spend my time with you if you're going to just keep doing whatever you want to do? You don't have a teachable spirit. Don't ever miss the fact that people have to discover what it is you already know that you think everybody should know because you told them. Telling somebody does not mean they understand it. Matter of fact, I would say, for the most time, they don't. I'm going to give you an example. In our men's locker room, we are really big on honor, order, and authority. I had a very seasoned leader call me today and he goes, Tim, honestly, I've heard those words, I say those words, but I really did not know what they meant. Now, we're doing things to help people understand. We're putting videos together and we're teaching on it more and more and more. But the truth of it is your mind has to be opened in order to see the truth of those words. If not, they sound like you're trying to control me. But actually, those words are words to freedom. And they cause an organization to just fly. They cause the military to fly. And right now, we don't see a lot of honor, order, and authority in this world. We see a lot of rebellion, a lot of you're not going to tell me what to do, and a lot of gossip and put down because you don't see it the way I see it. I can tell you, I have learned so much from the leaders and the emerging leaders that I get to mentor, that I get to be a friend. I believe this, and I close. If you really want to make an impact, men, and I invite you, ladies, I invite you to move more into being a father and a mother, never dishonoring somebody's father or their mother. But this is what Paul told Timothy. He said, you've got a lot of instructors. You've got a lot of people feeding you information. You've got a lot of people that are telling you what to do. You've got a lot of people that are giving you their opinion. What you don't have is a father. Men, don't provoke your children to wrath. Rather, train, teach, exhort, love, explain, tell stories. Tell stories. It changes everything. I hope you will get on this path. I want to challenge you now in closing. I want you to go and get 10 men or women that, men, you get men, ladies, you get ladies, and start mentoring them. Now, I know some of you are in position in business that ladies, you're boss over men. I would encourage you to start talking to them and pouring into them and getting them to another mentor. Boy, this is big right now. A lot of times when people come to me for mentorship, I will say to you, I need you to talk to my friend here. I need you to get around a friend here. Matter of fact, the more you grow in leadership and the more you grow in the ability to make decisions, a lot of times you're like 220 and the person you're mentoring is on 110. They're not less than you, but you're processing and thinking at a level that they can't get to yet. So they get offended by it. I would encourage you, in my life, I'm so grateful now that I have a lot of people that I'm mentoring that are on their way, that I can plug other men into them because the potency of what they say is a little more tolerable than when it comes from me. Sometimes I set such high bars that a lot of people go, I can't do that. I can't live that. I can't be that. It's just too far. By the way, let me tell you how important this is. I'll give you an example. A 22-year-old lady that has been mentored her whole life, and she meets somebody that has never had the same training. It takes 8 years to get them even. That's if that young girl stops growing. Growth is so amazing. It is the most powerful thing in the world, but it causes more conflict than you can ever imagine. You can't believe it because you just see things differently. I was talking to a couple the other day and they were reading the Bible, and that's a good thing. I think we would all agree that's a good thing. The challenge is he had been raised in church his whole life, so he's down the road. She's just coming to it. So when they read the same scripture, they see it so differently. And now there's confusion. This is why the good book says don't be unequally yoked with a non-believer. That is somebody that you can love with everything inside of you. They're just not to the place. And a lot of times we hire people, we bring people in our teams because we love them, we've got a mercy gift, and I think we should do that. And that's why we are so big here at G5 on vetting, because here's why. The air is so thin that it's hard to breathe it, and it's so hard for people to move forwards on it. My wife and I were both raised in Christian homes. When we met, I already had multiple companies, and we had a ministry that was going around the world, and she is incredibly intelligent, but can you imagine the G-force of walking into a world that was at such an RPM level? It was like 2,000 or 3,000, and this is over here is redlining. Just the physical, just the strain of carrying that burden can be overwhelming. So be careful in your mentorship. And I hope that you will become more and more a part of our mentoring programs. The locker room is really a mentoring program. The men's call is a mentoring program. Girl Talk is a mentoring program. Get in it because it's a safe environment where you can grow, you can accomplish your dreams, but you'll never be embarrassed. You'll never be put down. Hey, let's get in the game. I challenge you. I challenge you. Go get 10 mentees. You got this. I love you. And if you don't have a mentor, start looking for one. I'm going to do a whole talk on how to find your mentor. I love you. This is your moment. Charge.